My big joke is that my movies become super duper hits 4 years after they
Of
come
course, yeah.
That's great.
out. Yeah, because people watch it more online.
Cult followings.
Yeah. So generally, there's no immediate kind of a payback or a kind of a transaction or reward. Movies also we have to work backwards. So which is why I have to work more as compared to other people in order to sustain the team and things like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do movies for financial reason, and because in the South especially, in the South as an actor, I've had a successful movie in the past, so
you're getting more work there.
yeah, a lot of work.
And
I keep saying no to acting people. I sometimes feel like they really don't like my movie. They don't want me to direct. They only
they want to keep you employed as an actor.
They want to keep me employed as an actor. I have that temptation to, like, I talk in my head. I'm like, why is he taking this shot? It won't be used. Why is he not taking that shot? So that needs to shut down. That's why unless my shot is not ready,
Right.
I don't come on the set.
Okay.
I have to shut down the director.
But could he...
And for that, I have to wait in the van, and that waiting is very, very. In one scene in Gang where I'm a cop, who's literally my pants are like falling off because I was so thin. You will never see a cop as thin as me in that movie. He was like a child.
Which is no disrespect to the police. He was really thin.
Yeah. I didn't know they had a proper mustache, but they made me a cop because they didn't have money for $500. I went and did it. See, my thing is, if I start aspiring to be like a 100 crore club filmmaker,
400, sir, 400.
400, forget 100. I have not touched 50 also. So if I aspire to be...
On a talent management.
If I aspire to do that, then there's no point for me to make the film that I'm making.
Okay.
So I stick to a certain budget and I have all the freedom. When I cross that budget, then I lose my freedom. Then I have to start catering.
He's sweet enough not to say anything. He'll go back and say, oh, shoot, yaar.
नहीं वो मेरे को बहुत पहले से पता है.
The show is called Cyrus Says. And we have Abbas on the show for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah. But let me just explain the whole thing. This, of course, is Anurag Kashyap. In case 2-3 people don't know, we'll put the name here. So don't worry. That's all done. Abbas is the real host when it comes to... Because he's the film guy here. He's the filmy guy. I like old 70s, 80s movies starring John Holmes. I see you're familiar with that also. Very good, beta, very good. Actually, we're very close in age. He's 50, I'm 52.
Right.
September 10th, Gorakhpur. Am I right?
Yeah.
I was there. Nurse Braganza. I took the baby out. Then I put the baby back. And then the mom and dad shouted, cut. Yeah. Wo bhi ho gaya. But yeah, welcome to the show. And interesting. As an actor, we've been waiting to get you for your great body of work and all the stuff you've done and, talk about your life, which we hopefully can as much as we can. But now, it's as an actor.
Yeah.
They sent me the trailer. I, of course, don't know nothing about Abbas.
Right.
Haddi, I'm looking at it and she's laughing. Jen is laughing behind your shoulders. Because I'm texting her and saying, boss, ye to Anurag ka cameo hai isme. Because I saw him, and he does that, so typical, director.
Yeah.
And then some other name comes. Some long,
Ajay Sharma.
Ajay, Akshat, Ashok, Arunesh. I mean, some 15 names came there. And then finally she cleared it up and said, no, he's very important. In fact, it's the villain, basically, if that's the correct word.
Yeah, I think ever since they started making me act, I've only been playing the psychopathic villain.
Why?
I think maybe I look like one.
Sweet, gentle man. A couple of pounds heavier than I last remember, but otherwise it's exactly the same.
Not couple of pounds. 15 pounds heavier.
15 pounds?
15 kilos heavier.
15 kilos? 33 pounds. I shouldn't tell you. Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's touchy subject. I rewind. Won't bring this up.
This is like since the COVID. That lockdown was...
Oh, that. So
lockdown was Zomato.
Lockdown.
Yeah.
I thought the success, yaar. Typical Bollywood story.
It's the lockdown. I don't know how not to work. So lockdown was very bad for me.
Okay, we'll come to that, but because we have the people from Z5 sitting there, and we thank them for this fabulous show, which we have to see. So please watch. September 10th is the release.
September 7th.
7th. 10th is the birthday. 7th is the release. 8th and 9th.
Haddi comes out with Jawan.
Correct.
If you don't get the tickets for Jawan, log on to Z5 and watch Haddi.
You had to do this. Why? Jawan. But Haddi is
or you can go watch Jawan in the theatres, and at night when you come back to unwind, you can watch Haddi.
Or watch the adult version of both called Chaddi, which is my story. Short clips.
Right.
Short for sure. Yeah. So let's talk about the...
What is Haddi in Chaddi called in English?
हड्डी इन चड्डी? हड्डी इन चड्डी?
इंग्लिश में क्या बोलते हैं?
Bone and boxers.
Oh.
ए तेरा इंग्लिश तो साउथ इंडियन का हो गया भैया. बोन इन बॉक्सर्स कहाँ से?
Yeah, chaddi or haddi.
Back in Gorakhpur, no one had boxers.
It's a different show.
Yeah, I know, we've gone complete. We had to do 10 minutes on Haddi and we've done like 1-9.
So I was trying to say, you are playing a politician in Haddi, right?
Yeah.
No, he's playing a gangster who becomes a politician.
Yeah,
which never happens in real life.
Yeah, but that's most true, I think, all over.
Correct.
Yes, gangsters become politicians,
That's true.
or politicians the new gangster. I don't know.
Sometimes I feel gangsters are more loving. You know, in the sense that the gangster doesn't have a
The old Hindi film gangster had a kind of
उसमें कुछ
idealism,
अंदाज
a kind
है,
of a
style,
broken
शानवान,
idealism,
yeah, all that.
morality. अभी का gangster
Good point.
अलग है.
Good point. And no VIP culture in gangsters.
Yeah.
No 40 cars coming and saying अभी रोको साहब आने वाले हैं. कौन सा वो पता नहीं, वो आएगा बस. This is the kind of crap we have to go through. I don't know why we come back to my life, but let's get back to yours. Sorry. So he's a politician gangster.
Yeah.
And he has there's a whole
politician gangster
vendetta.
builder, yeah.
With
Old
the-
vendetta of like
Nawazuddin's character.
Yeah, in the trailer there's a shot where Nawaz's character is crying that his entire family has been taken away from him. So
Yeah.
I guess his character is behind that. Yeah.
Wow. I like these kind of shows, to be honest. I'm not just saying it because
It is a revenge film.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. But you have to, once you get that empathy feeling, the bad part is the beginning where some bad things happen to the hero.
It's a revenge film. No, it's actually very easy for Nawaz to take revenge from me. All he has
Why?
to do is, if we just run together, I'll die of heart attack. And he can go on running.
फिर 3 घंटे की पिक्चर क्यों बना ली? यही कर लेते हैं.
Wow. Again, I heard
There was some
phone.
beep somewhere. We are under the radar for this episode.
Pretty phony show so far. So that's it. So it's a revenge story. We'll come back to it here and there.
But I want to know how did you land up the role?
How did you decide why I know you act a little bit here and there, but
No, I'm not by choice. It's always some kind of a personal, emotional reason. Sometimes the acting is for emotional reason, sometimes it's for financial reason.
Okay.
This was more emotional because Akshat Ajay Sharma, the director, he has been my assistant for a very long time.
Oh.
And it was his first film. And he was my second year director on Sacred Games. And I had read the first draft of the script and he wanted me to act. And I was like, if you don't find anyone, then come to me. So I don't know whether did he look for anyone or not. Because he came to me and says,
2-3 दिन and immediately made the call.
No, after 3-4 months he said, I can't find anybody, so can you please do it? So that's how I came on board.
But it's a good, interesting dynamic. He was your assistant, so obviously he must have got a few kicks here and there while a picture is being made or whatever.
He was one of the good assistants, yeah.
So come pada.
But I mean, you have a history of launching your assistant directors, right? There's Vikramaditya Motwane.
Motwani was Bansali's assistant. He was my friend. But yeah, a lot of my assistants are filmmakers.
Yeah, that's
If
why
the
I'm
expert
asking.
doesn't know what's happening, then मैं क्या करेगा?
I have a lot of filmmakers, who are my assistants.
Right. Neeraj Ghewan also?
Gevan, Bala.
This you got right,
Bala.
huh? This you got right. Bad watch.
No, but can you give an example of a financial reason why you acted one of the roles?
What do you mean?
Because he said there's an emotional reason.
Give
There's
an
a
example.
financial.
The
Yeah.
reason means कितना पैसा था बैंक account.
No, but
No, financial reasons are simply like sometimes when you, because I also make very experimental movies. The kind of movies I make are not really blockbusters.
yeah,
And they're not until OTT came into being.
correct.
So before that, sometimes for money, you would go and act in movies.
Would you still say that? Would you still say that when you make a movie and it opens, it's still not considered like a attraction?
It is, see, my big joke is that my movies become super duper hits 4 years after they
Of
come out.
course, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, because people watch it more online.
Cult
and streaming.
followings.
Yeah. So generally, there's no immediate kind of a payback or a kind of a transaction, a reward. So movies also, we have to work backwards. So which is why I have to work more as compared to other people in order to sustain the team and things like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do movies for financial reason, and because in the South especially, in the South, as an actor, I've had a successful movie in the past, so
you're getting more work there.
yeah, a lot of work.
And
I keep saying no to acting people. I sometimes feel like they really don't like my movies. They don't want me to direct. They only want
to
me
keep
to
you employed as an actor.
act. They want to keep me employed as an actor.
But doesn't once you act and your film does well, doesn't it create more thirst to do more on camera?
Plus he'll pay you more.
No,
Because I played a bartender
Hey,
in Boomer.
तू शाहरुख खान कौन सा एंगल से बन गया इधर?
अरे you were the bartender.
I was the bartender.
Shit, यार.
that एक shot is पे happy hour वाला. You were the happy hour guy.
I was a happy.
I don't want to be part of the show.
I did
I
it.
love that film.
He hijacked the.
I did it and I forgot.
Anurag Kashyap, one of the celebrated filmmakers of his generation. Arguably, probably the most outstanding filmmaker.
अरे but happy hour वाला scene अच्छा था. Very good scene.
God, now और तारीफ कर, मैं जाएगा ही.
No, I did that and I forgot about it. And now the movie has come out. Everybody is sending me. I saw you on screen. अब मेरे को चस्का लग गया. I was like, now I want to do more stuff.
We have the most prolific filmmaker in India here, and we are discussing your 2-minute cameo.
I'm sharing my
one time
grief with him now. Why
for me it's very difficult to like one thought director me doesn't shut down.
Yeah.
And when you're a filmmaker on a set, you are engaged non-stop. But when an actor, you're waiting for a shot, and that waiting is very.
See how much we suffer.
Cumbersome.
Bol.
Do you feel the feel that you should tell the director how to take this?
Especially when he.
No. I have that temptation to like I talk in my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is he taking this shot? It won't be used. Why is he not taking that shot? So that needs to shut down. That's why unless my shot is not ready,
right.
I don't come on the set.
Okay.
I have to shut down the director in me.
But could he?
And for that, I have to wait in the van, and that waiting is very, very.
And
painful.
In the old days, they used to have company.
Company?
People to entertain you.
Oh, acha.
Gender fluid.
Okay.
I won't get into all that.
Sure.
Did you get a van?
No, I did not.
Then you're still talking about your cameo?
I was very happy. I was just grateful to be on a film set.
I'm happy to drive the van. That's good enough. But I want to ask, since he worked for you in more than one film, whatever, there's a dynamic, there's a social dynamic, like hierarchy involved. And I'm sure it's very difficult for him to raise his voice to you or to talk.
He normally doesn't raise his voice, but he's a very stubborn director.
So how does he get his point across when he's irritated, long day, whatever? How does that work? How does he talk to you?
He knows how to communicate. He knows, but in the sense, as a filmmaker, you know how to communicate. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult. Some filmmakers don't know how to communicate. It's very difficult to follow them. But he knows how to communicate. And sometimes he would be very stubborn. Sometimes I would say, why do you want to do it like this? Yes, sir, it's my film.
How sweet.
True. Yeah.
And then you have to back off.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, also there's Nawazuddin, a couple of other big names there and all quality actors. So there's a lot of
he's got some very good cast.
Yeah.
He put together a bunch of extremely good actors. I don't know how he managed it, but it was.
But tell me one thing, if you had to, who's the worst actor in the cast?
I have not seen the final. Who's the worst actor in the cast? See, for most of the actors will tell you that. Like they cringe when they see themselves.
Yeah.
So when I see myself, I cringe.
Nay, but this is a Miss India answer.
No, it's no. It actually is.
We'll promote that guy. Say it's Vipin Verma. Then you just supposing, for example, you say that and then everyone goes and they'll go after him. He'll become world famous. This is actually reverse psychology.
No, I have to. The finished film we are yet to see, which I think we are watching on 5th or 6th. The finished film.
Like a day before.
Z5, by the way. I want to mention to every camera Z5.
No, because अभी तक दिखाया नहीं किसी को finished film.
Oh, क्यों?
हमने तो सब एडिट दिखा है. फिनिश फिल्म तो रिलीज के जस्ट पहले डिलीवरी होता है ना.
कितना फर्क होगा?
फिनिश फिल्म का क्वालिटी डिफरेंस होता है. कलर करेक्शन, फिनिश विजुअल इफेक्ट्स, साउंड डिजाइन, the impact is like 10 times larger, no?
Forget all that. Will I look younger?
But you're not in the film.
You're not in any film. You're in 2 minutes of cinema and we have just half the conversation has been about that one
like
scene. And he knows the scene. He knows the scene.
You'll feel younger.
Oh, you feel younger, yeah. All right. Should we go on to his life now?
Yeah, sure.
Because we can come back towards the end. There's some AMA questions and we will promote the movie again. It's September 7th, Haddi, which is a huge film. And don't watch the other big blockbuster. I mean, you can watch it, but don't watch it on the 7th. Watch it later.
There's also Vijay Verma in the film. We should mention a few other names of the cast.
I'm not showing. Sir, bhul gaya. Main to bhul gaya. So I don't even know. So you go ahead.
No, he's having a moment right now. He's been in a lot of streaming films and TV shows that have done well. So he's also in the film.
Anurag said, I want to talk about myself.
Okay.
No, there are lots of terrific actors in the film. Saurabh Sachdeva is there. Ila Arun is there.
Yeah.
There's Sridhar Dubey is there. Sahar Shukla. I don't know. Lots of terrific actors.
All right. So now we won't say who's the worst, later on by the end of the show.
You must have interviewed Ila Arun lots of times.
Lots of times. Yeah. And Piyush, this is the brother, no?
Yeah.
So I've got free alcohol.
Okay.
Lots of times also. Piyush, thank you very much.
He's still the president of the Whiskey Club.
Oh, king for life. You can't touch him, boss. Yeah. You hear that laugh. You used to live in my lane. You could hear the laugh from 8 buildings away. It was beautiful. One of the nicest guys. Let's get back to Sir's story. Not Sir, he's younger than me.
Yeah.
But you're 50, I'm 52. So
I'll be 51 in
51 in
5 days.
Yeah, so we're almost the same. How old are you?
35.
Tera baal dekh? Sorry.
बाल हो तो तब देखो ना, है ही नहीं तो.
Abbas, very sporting. He's a comedian, by the way, by profession. Abbas, if you become a superstar after this,
Actually,
I'll have to hide. I'll have to hide if you become the next huge star.
I do a joke which uses a punchline from Ganges of
First your
Wasapur, which I'll do later.
No, you do it now. No, you do it now. Anurag has time for all this. I've seen him at comedy clubs.
Right.
He looks out for talent. Go ahead.
No, so the joke, long story short, it's a joke about vegetarian food and how people name vegetarian food and how paneer is in every vegetarian food. So I once came across a dish that was called paneer be misal, which means jiski koi misal hi nahi hai, something it cannot be compared with. And I'm thinking, dude, paneer phata hua doodh hai. Okay, paneer is literally heat and air telling milk, beta tumse na ho paega. Beta tumse na ho paega is the line from Gangs of Wasapur.
Oh. So the copyright infringement, I feel.
No, that line was actually improvised by Digmachudur.
There you go.
Oh.
He's also...
So you can't even claim it, is it?
You can't even claim it.
Creative license with the actor. Yeah.
Oh, but when someone improvises a line like that, is it like they improvise it once and you're like, do that again? Or do you just keep that?
No, it was just so good. He's just so good and natural that we were like rolling in laughter. And it was done then and there, finished.
Do you allow a lot of that?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
You're very good with the actor being creative and innovative and...
Yeah, you cast actors like that. You know which actors are good at improvisation, which are not. And the ones who are good at it, I prod them, provoke them, give them free hand. I just say what not to do. I don't tell them what to do. I let them go. And lots of very good scenes have come out of that.
Yeah,
like the police station scene
Ugly,
in Ugly.
I was just
come out of
to
improvisation.
Remember Ugly, Cyrus, when you saw it in the theatre? Yeah.
3 times, yeah.
Yeah, but that scene I
it's come out of improvisation.
On and on. Yeah.
But that's a very interesting thing. Now, people, as you go in the modern world, sometimes I feel scripts are really difficult because they're just,
I'm
stuck.
saying
Words are stuck.
script should be just a map.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't share my scripts with actors.
But there are other type of directors who gussa ho jata hai.
Oh, ठीक है. मतलब see, everybody has their own way. My thing is like, I do not give my script to actors because it's like they memorize it so much.
Maybe they can't read, some of them, I don't know.
they become very fixated. The dialogues and everything, they say it the same way. If you give it, if the script stays with them for
with the
too
brackets,
long, they've rehearsed it so many times in front of the mirror that you just cannot alter them.
Okay, so do they get it on set?
I always give them scenes on
He
the
gives
set.
the wrong scene also sometimes. So that they improvise for sure.
Actually do.
Yeah. Really? I swear. You actually given them the wrong scene?
I actually give them wrong cues and wrong things. I give 3 different instructions to 3 different actors.
Oh, wow. So they hand 3
so
different...
what comes out of is very organic. You can't write it.
It's a bit like our podcast because all of us don't know what we are saying
exactly
at the same time.
Yeah.
What a success. All right. I want to just go back to his beginning because I don't know when we'll get him again.
Sure.
And then if we have time, we'll come back to the launch of Haddi, of course. So just give us
Also Kennedy.
Kennedy?
Yeah.
Kennedy B?
We'll come to that. No, Kennedy is the film that premiered at Cannes.
Okay, so take us back now. So how did I mean, you've been asked this 150 times, but how did you land up in the business? How did it happen?
Me, how did I land up? I just got fascinated by movies and I just took the train and came here knowing that Imtiaz Ali is going to be here because I knew him back in university and there's a friend called Jagdish Sharma. So I just followed them here. And then it was my own journey. I was like, I used to watch you at the Channel V office.
And like what
colorful Channel V office.
I was in
what were you doing at Channel V?
MTV, yeah. MTV office.
It just shows you how marketing has failed. After 15, 20 years on that freaking channel, they call us by other name. It's when you ask for Coke instead of a Pepsi. It's like the cola wins at the end. Yeah. And that's because you were friends with Shashank Ghosh.
Shashank.
Very talented promos he used to make in those days. He made films also.
Shashank and Kamal Sarup used to come and shoot.
Correct.
Stuff.
Yeah. So. But I want to talk about Shashank for 1 second. It's personal. He took the Bakra copyright. Quietly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he owns it. The copyright of Bakra. We
can't. He used to do Bakra,
yeah.
He owns it as in MTV used to do it, right?
So MTV Bakra he can't take, but Bakra word he took.
It's such a common word.
Bakra is what we eat. So how can anybody can take a Bakra.
Till now we are allowed to eat a Bakra.
Please ask him to return it. I'm telling you, I'm not lying about this. Why would I bring it up?
That's really weird. How can you?
Because they were very close. He'll be able to tell him. Are you still close?
Yeah.
So you'll tell him. Yeah.
Okay, so on TV you can't do a show called Bakra.
We can't use that on its own.
Acha, okay.
We have to find some
Got
whatever
it.
thing
Yeah,
with it.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So then that's a bit of a problem. We have to keep changing the name to Baap of Bakra and Bakra ka Beta and all nonsense like that.
Oh, that you can do, but you
That
can't
you can
just
do, but
use
the
word.
name on its own you
Acha,
can't take.
okay.
Yeah. I took Shashank as a copyright, but apparently there are lots of people call Shashank, so that flopped completely. Yeah.
बकरा का गोश्त बहुत अच्छा होता है. गोश्त मतलब.
Our show is pure Jain vegetarian. I just want to tell you, our viewers, so be very careful, sir. So let's quickly, in short, so you came here, you had just a couple of contacts, and
No, not contact. They were just like friends who were all coming here to struggle. Nothing. I just.
how does one? It's fascinating for people outside listening. How do you person with no network, no contacts, not knowing anyone? How do you? where do
I
you go?
knew Prithvi. I started off in theatre.
Prithvi in the
and,
theatre,
yeah. I was lucky because 93 is when I came in, when Star TV was just started out with Bold and the Beautiful and things. Z was just starting out with Tara and stuff. Everything was just all channels were starting out. Cable television literally was starting out at that time.
True.
And there was a lot of things. I started working with Adi Pocha.
Oh yeah, script shop.
Script shop. इधर वर्ली में corner
Yeah,
में जो
My,
office था.
my part of town, yeah. I know all this.
Across
I know
City
all
Bakery,
this.
City Bakery के बाद.
City Bakery, क्या पास है यार.
So I started, let's say, interning there and working there, and then
So you were writing scripts?
I was just writing writing dialogues, no, because they were doing Shanti at that time.
Oh right, Shanti.
And they were doing
you
all the-
remember the show?
the
You're
first
too
daily
young.
I
shows.
remember
You're too
Shanti,
young.
yeah, Mandra Bedi.
So they needed dialogue writers Hindi because nobody spoke Hindi there.
Nobody. Parsi.
Yeah.
Nobody spoke Hindi there.
And the legend was that you wrote scripts very fast.
I used to write like
And they
100
couldn't even
pages a day.
approve or they couldn't speak Hindi properly. So you would just write and give it. बहुत अच्छा है.
नहीं, it was not that difficult, but I could write very fast and I could write a lot. So वो था, and then from there.
Although the Shanti doesn't sound like Anurag Kashyap from any angle, if you've seen any of those.
That was also my whole learning process. See, the thing is, when you're interning, mistakes are allowed.
Correct.
So somebody would correct it. What I made my own mistakes and I learned. And from right across, I remember there was across City Bakery was Adi Pocha's office, and you went down the road, वो वर्ली वाला जो सिग्नल से अंदर सीधा जाके आगे ग्लैक्सो पीछे उधर क्रेस्ट कम्युनिकेशन.
Crest Communications, 4D Studios.
So Crest Communication also I started working with Shyam Ramanna and people
It was a
there.
big name in those days, yeah.
So I was doing odd jobs for him, like small writing. Harsh was there, Harsh Dave, I think.
Of course, Harsh Dave. You don't know this guy.
Shyam Benegal also had his office in town, right?
Shyam Benegal was in
Harsh
Everest
Dave's
Towers.
wife worked for at MTV.
Shyam Benegal, Everest Towers, Ad Film Wala. So all the time was spent there.
Right.
Flix was there.
Yeah.
Worli
Bar
was the
there.
renaissance at that point.
Yeah.
From South Bombay proper, Nariman Point area, they had moved to Worli. Then they went to Parel. Then they went to BKC. And then now I don't know where they are.
From there and like कुछ ना कुछ odd jobs, everything. मतलब even like I've for Ad Film Wala would stand in a group in a Maruti ad and get some money, do something.
This is Kunal Kapoor.
Kunal Kapoor. Yeah, and Rachel had a soft corner for us strugglers, Rachel Rubin. And she would put us in all the groups, all the Coke ads and things. Be in a group, get 500, 700 bucks.
Hey bro, what a story this is. Your story is making sense now. Because see, he started with like, little bit
course,
here, little
yeah,
bit there.
yeah.
So there are 2 seconds bhi tha na. But that's the beginning of something big.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be the next Anurag Kashyap. Unbelievable.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
You never know. I mean, he's
There's a lot of
writing
fun.
dialogues for Shanti. That's as soap opera as you can get, and
Shanti,
female-centric characters.
Swabhiman,
Female-centric
Yeah,
characters.
Trigal. Then there was
You've done a lot of
Kalamkari. Vinita Koilo started Kalamkari.
Vinita Koil. I know all these people.
Yeah.
I love this man. Finally, I feel comfortable again.
we have met many a times. We used to meet a lot of times there.
I don't drink anymore, but I had to. Cost of living here is too expensive.
We used to meet a lot often then. Yeah.
You've done a lot of ghost writing as well, right?
But that was also my learning process.
Okay.
The people found it very easy because it's like for me it was like okay, by doing ghost writing you learn. So make your mistakes because I never went to any film school. So the ghost writing was also by choice and plus also because I could write fast. So I was like that very loved ghost writer who would get a little bit extra money as compared to others. And food.
Of course.
In America, you could do those Mexican kids who spray paint fast and run. You can't catch them because they're really quick. But
and nobody had to tell me that, listen, you will write and not get credit. I was okay with it. So nobody had to really convince
no, but
me.
he was working with all these names in those days.
But I worked with all the people who were literally the gurus of
Correct.
Exactly.
the industry.
You can't go
started
wrong.
out.
You can't go wrong.
So my education was immense. I got to learn so much from the masters.
But you didn't have a plan, I'm going to be a filmmaker per se. You were
I wanted to be part of the movies, but I was still figuring my way out. And then I was also doing theatre. I was also acting. I was also doing writing. I was doing whatever came my way. I would be standing in a crowd. So there's no plan, there's no ambition. That actually I've
quite a humbling process. Because you do whatever you get.
I would do whatever I get. Just simply one scene in Gang, you'll find me.
Yeah.
In one scene in Gang where I'm a cop, who's literally my pants are like falling off because I was so thin. You will never see a cop as thin as me in that movie. He was like a child.
Which is no disrespect to the police. He was really thin.
Yeah. I did not even have a proper mustache, but they made me a cop because they didn't have money for $500. I went and did it.
Done.
So things like that one would do.
His story is exactly like mine, except that I continue to struggle
Of
and
course.
do whatever I get. Well, he became a big star. That's the difference.
Should we talk about Satya? Satya was the big break, the big
Writing.
hit. You did the dialogues for that, but you kept on doing dialogues for a lot of films even after Satya, right?
Writing,
right up till
I kept
Yuva.
on. Writing it started coming naturally to me, and there was also a phase when I was post Black Friday and March when it had got stuck, and I was not really focused. At that time, also wrote a lot of dialogues for crap films because it was very easy for me to write and make money.
Sorry to ask this question, but kabhi aisa bhi hota hai because you're doing so much, so prolific, and there's no genre. He's gone beyond genre. You can't stereotype him anymore. Could you write Shanti dialogues for like Plan or something? I mean, could you
No.
by mistake be in the wrong avatar? You're
But
writing.
there nothing. The daily soaps were like so all-consuming that you could only work on one thing at a time. So it was not like that I worked on Shanti for a very long time. I probably must have worked on it for like a duration, like off and on over 2 months. That's where I met, I think, Zoe Akhtar also for the first time. That's when I met Ronnie Screwala for the first time. That Poonam Chambers mein office was the UTV ka.
Wow. He knows everything.
I remember that time.
Like he's talked all these people.
So it was just over a period of 2 months. Then I went to Plus Channel. I worked on Swabhiman for some time.
Swabhiman.
Yeah.
Rohit Roy.
Yeah.
Then there was 93, 94, 95. I was with
This
Vinita
is, really
Koil
the
working on
birth,
Trikal.
this is the birth of all that. We didn't know it would become TV. Would become
All those
something.
things, and that's working on Trikal also. I don't think not more than 60 episodes.
Right.
I must
That's
have
a
worked
lot.
on. That's a lot. After that, I found Shivam Nair and I worked on something which Ram Gopal Verma saw. And 95, 96, I started working on with Ramu. So it was just a period of 2 years after which I
But see
started
the
working with
irony
Ramu.
here. He wrote all these dialogues across all these genres, but when he makes films, he wants them to do their own thing. In a sense. There is a little bit of irony there.
Yeah, for others, you can do anything you want. But at one point, I stopped writing screenplays because I realized that if you get stuck in writing screenplay for somebody else, and you have to write to somebody else's satisfaction of like the way they see the story, which often comes from reference point, it's a very long drawn process. So writing dialogues is easy. You do your screenplay bit, give it to me. 2 days I'll sit down, write dialogues, take my money, go home. So I stopped writing scripts, I think post Satya Kon Shul. I stopped working on scripts. I started only doing dialogues.
And so all the movies, the second half of your career, are they your dialogues?
No, I improvise. I do many things.
Okay.
Yeah, I improvise. I write dialogues also.
So the first
I also
draft
have
is-
collaborators.
No, the first draft is always you.
No. First draft is never me. The very few films where you will see my solo credit is where I write from inception. But if you say in last 5 to 6 years, many films. Abbas came from another writer. Manmarjan came from Kanika Dillon. Each film came from someone else. Choked came from Nihit Bhave. So I would take that.
So what is your favorite thing to do as a filmmaker?
I love writing and I love directing and I love editing. I like the whole three stage of filmmaking.
Okay.
After my film is finished,
And acting
I'm
is
off.
fourth.
Acting is last.
Acting is last. Wow.
Acting. I'm not really. I because I've done a lot of theatre and I know and when you reach a point in life where anything you do, you have to be good at it. Otherwise, if you're slightly mediocre, you get thrashed. So I don't want that. So if I'm saying yes to acting, I have to give it my all.
Right.
Or do what we do. Make sure nobody notices you. That's another way to
that
survive.
time is past now.
Gone. I call it government job. It's a great thing here.
That time is past.
9 बजे आजा, 5 बजे जा, चाय पियो.
Now, even in a small little ad or a interview, you say
Somebody
one
on the
thing, you start
internet
getting
will give
trolled.
Yeah.
Abbas, we loved you in the film and all that.
I know, yeah. No, I just want to ask, when do you feel the film is done, when you're directing a film?
Film is never done. Somebody has to tell you, now we are releasing and get out.
Neto, you continue tweaking.
Yeah, if I have, because it costs money now. Once you've locked the film and you open it again, it costs money. At one point, the producer stands up and says, "Listen, sir, please, thank you very much. It's done now."
So were you sitting on the edit when Haddi was reaching the post stage and all that? Were you there?
No, Haddi, I was not. Haddi, I was just an actor.
But did you interview with the post?
No. On my film, I did not let go. I went and spent all the money recording for Kennedy Music in Prague and everything. So I was like, they had to put a stop to me.
Wow. So is that producer's nightmare? Huh?
No, actually not. I'm always in budget.
Yeah, exactly.
Always in budget?
Always
Yeah.
I love that. Budget and time, I hate the creativity part. That's not important. Be on time and be in budget. I've been saying that. We have to take a break because we have to be on time and in budget also on the show. And then we'll come back and talk lots more with Anurag Kashyap, known as AK50 because he's 50. AK51.
Hello. It's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On the Habit Coach podcast, Ashton Doctor is joined by Dr. Vignesh Devraj, founder of Sitaram Beach Retreat. They talk about Ayurveda's transformative impact on people's habits and lifestyles, as well as essential hair and skin care and Ayurveda's perspectives on these aspects. On All Things Policy, Bharat Sharma and Josiah Neal speak about India and Australia's growing defense engagement and what leads to security interests between them. They also discuss how emerging technologies are playing a part in the bilateral relationship. Folks, if you like our shows, do spread the word. Tell your friends and don't forget to rate and review them wherever you're listening to them. Follow us on social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You'll also find all our shows on youtube.com/IVM Podcasts. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week: SBI Life, IDFC First Bank, and Save Life Foundation. Thank you for making this possible.
And the show must go on as filmmakers. We all know that.
Couldn't even finish the sentence without laughing.
I couldn't say it because he's sitting here. That would have been fine
Right.
with it. Yeah. He's sweet enough not to say anything. We'll go back and say, "Oh, shoot, yeah."
नहीं वो मेरे को बहुत पहले से पता है.
Now you're making Abbas really happy. Just waiting for someone to pull me down a little bit. All right. So before we go, so then you got into all this, and then you got your first break as a writer. We'll go forward from Satya and all that. People all know the trajectory, and then you started directing films. But then you had this reputation. We're talking offline actually about you a little bit, and you know this that the film is made, but it doesn't get released. So the film is made, it gets targeted, and then after some time you start believing that because it happened 1, 2, 3 baar, you know. So tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, in the beginning it was very difficult because in the beginning people didn't understand. Like, I got confused because at one point I remember somebody told me, "What are you doing?" when they saw Black Friday. I said, "ये थोड़ा real भी है, fictional भी है, तो ये film नहीं है, मतलब ये hybrid है, क्या है?" So I also started, and when my parents would react like that, because why can't you make films like everybody else?
Oh God,
like, you know, who will watch
specifically on Black Friday.
Black Friday,
yeah.
and whatever, like whatever I would do until a long time, and then the greatest thing that happened in my family also became my largest tragedy, because I was this filmmaker who made Panch and Black Friday that didn't release, then No Smoking that bombed, and everything, and my brother went and made Dabang.
First film.
His first film, Dabang. And he hits a century.
Super hit, yeah.
And then everybody's like,
देखा? ऐसा picture बनाओ.
But then when we were shooting Gangs of Wasseypur, and we had to find locations, and nobody knew my films. We were shooting in like Banaras, my hometown, and nobody knew any of the films I had made because they probably never released in Banaras. So we had to go to the location. आपने दबंग देखी? हाँ. जो दबंग बनाई ना उनके भाई हैं. छोटा भाई. हाँ. मतलब उनका भाई है वो फिल्म शूट कर. अच्छा आपके भाई ने दबंग बनाई. आई. And that's how we used to get locations.
This has to be true. It's just a ridiculous story. Yeah.
But it is true. It is true. Dabang got me a lot of things done.
Yeah.
So everyone needs one dabang in the profile. You have to have
हमारा family profile.
Family profile. तो ठीक है. In India,
Can I talk about Panch and Black Friday though? Because you must have been aware that the film is not releasing, but everybody is still watching it on their
I loved it.
I watched it. I watched the pirated version. Like the DVD.
You're saying it.
Yeah, he knows it. He said it.
It's not his fault anyway now.
The DVD.
The whole world saw it.
The moment they ban a film or they shut a film down, it just becomes the film you have to see.
The
When will they learn? When will they learn
rent
this?
करने वाले जो होते थे, the clerks, DVD clerks, they themselves used to be like, ये देखा ये picture ban hua hai. That used to became
Yeah.
USP.
Was it international? The world wants to see it also.
Yeah.
If you shut the film down.
So was it frustrating for you that the film is not releasing what say everybody
Karan
watching
kya tha,
it?
if you don't mind?
No, because it was an ongoing case. The case was still sub judice. So they didn't ban the film. They said till the judgment doesn't come out, you can't release this film, because the film indirectly is accusing people it is naming. So it was a very valid reason. So
And
then
Panch was too violent to be released.
Panch was they did not know how to deal with Panch. Censor board did not know how to deal
Because
with Panch.
normally in India we count only 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's
Then we
true.
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. No. So what happened to Panch? It becomes a cult film and it remains.
It is on YouTube. There's some print on YouTube.
Everybody has seen it. It's there.
Exactly.
But you don't make money.
No, I never would have made money on it because I was not the producer.
We never know. I think it would have been
the film could have even if film would have made money, I wouldn't have, because I was a debut director. I was just grateful that my film got made. But the film never came out, and it's not in my hands. Producers have to release it. So even now, if somebody wants to put it on Netflix, I don't know, a film that costs nothing then with interest and it would cost I don't know how much now.
Yeah.
But after some time that stopped, and then slowly the films were
Slowly Black Friday came out.
Superstition, if you want.
Yeah.
About it.
Black Friday came out. Return of Hanuman.
Oh yeah.
Very
No
safe,
smoking.
very safe one there.
It was
the first I
animated.
think children's film that was UA.
Yeah. You know, UA.
Yeah, that's the tragedy of my life.
Abbas, if you are both minorities,
No, I've seen the film. It's a very fun film.
But why UA?
Because it's, let's say, uses colorful language, not
expletives.
No, not expletives.
फिर
Just
double meaning क्या होगा?
current,
देखो.
like he's using modern words and
Modern words
Can
and
you give one
things.
example?
like he's going to school like other children, and I like how you're asking me the question for the
That's why he's safe
film.
now.
Yes, he had like a touchpad.
Yeah.
Marty had a touchpad.
उसमें
Hanuman
क्या
had
है?
बस है यार.
That you're making fun, like a parody, because it's a modern.
whatever.
Not suitable for
To
children.
take their side, what are
Children
they
should
thinking?
watch it with adults.
With the
supervision.
adults to
censor
explain
board.
explain. Censor made it UA.
Yeah. But you didn't get a chance to shoot the climax of the film, if I'm
I didn't
not
get the chance to finish properly. animation.
Don't you get a chance to
we
take out
used
the-
the very rough. The last 2 reels
Right.
were not fully finished. They were animatics and roughly colored and not finished. If you see the first, first 70 minutes of the film and last 20 minutes of the film, they look unfinished.
Very different.
But
Comparatively.
don't you get a chance to take on the censor board and argue the point and all that about this?
No, that was not because of the censor board. Hanuman
That
was
censor board
unfinished.
gave this certificate. Did give this certificate.
Hanuman was Return of Hanuman was unfinished because of Shailendra Singh, Percept. He just decided because some Panditji told him this date you must release. So he released an unfinished film.
Good fast bowler, huh? He's a friend of mine, Bombay Jim.
Acha.
So they just decided it had to be done. You weren't
had
fully
to be
ready
done,
and
yeah.
whatever. Okay. All right.
Then Gulal and Devdi, I think.
Gulal
was your
Gulal
first
was stuck
film?
the longest.
Oh, really? Okay.
Gulal started in 2001 and finally released in 2009.
Yeah, that was the first film of yours I saw in a theater properly, legally.
You
But
are a bastard.
Gulal also released because of Devdi.
All
Devdi
pa-
released, it helped Gulal to
You
release.
don't understand what he's saying. He's seen all your films. He's a big fan. But he's seen only one in the
That's
theater.
the story of my
एक
life.
ही picture theater में एक
उसके बाद से सब
Don't you-
theater में देखी.
No, I-
नहीं, but है
No,
वो.
it's on record.
See,
It's on
that's the story of my life.
You have earned 1/8 of the money you should be earning. At the
Yeah,
moment, something like that.
but
1/15.
there was a time when literally everybody used to walk up to me and say that आपकी फिल्म देखी मैं सोचता था कहाँ देखी
फिर शर्म आ गई, फिर शर्म आ गई.
कहाँ
Sir,
देखी?
क्या बोला? क्या पूछा? Sorry. Traffic noise.
So I literally I used to identify with porn in the sense that I was like porn. People watched my films in secret.
Hold my hand. PAWN.
But the thing was that the pirated copies of his films used to be really good quality. Otherwise, pirated films were like camera rips and all of that, or the screen was cropped off.
but
I think that's probably how only way how
Yeah.
producers made
What
the money by
Anurag is
selling it to
saying,
the pirates.
it rings in my head, not in your head or most people's head, because you have to be 50. You see, we had to watch these certain blue films and whatever print, however it came, shot in the cinema, shot by somebody in the background. The sound is wrong, the dubbing is pathetic, all
Right.
that. But we watched it all.
Yeah, but that's how it was. Like literally, they used to write about they used to question my morality and my character after watching my films. So at that time, the critics used to be like, "What kind of a guy is this?" When the Yellow Boots came out, everything.
So this podcast is not going to help.
But there was a change once Devdi came out. Like all your films were notorious for having
And
dark,
Devdi had a
dark
huge-
and sad
Did
endings.
it have a huge release also in terms of...
But Devdi, which is based on
Yeah, it was a
Devdas,
niche release. It was niche release, but it worked. Yeah.
Devdas, which traditionally has a sad ending, you gave it a flip and made it a happier ending. And then
Don't say happy ending, uska alag matlab.
I mean, it's an open
That was
interpretation.
Yellow Boots.
That was
Yellow was a happy ending?
It's a film about that, no? Film
wow.
that dealt with that.
I've got to watch all this.
Remember when you watched it in the theatre, Cyrus?
In Thailand?
I mean, the film has massage as a central concept.
So stop segueing into sex all the time with shoots. Sorry, excuse my French. I apologize.
So yeah.
Shoot in French means...
Shoot in French means what?
It's like a chimney.
That, CHUT. CHUT is a totally different meaning of us. Let me tell you, he's right. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. But yeah, I was at the premiere of Girl in Yellow Boots because you did a screening for the students before the actual.
Thank God that was the reason. I thought Amitabh Bachchan aa gaya shot mein. What the hell in the middle? Did you see that? I was at the premiere, you arrogant bastard.
My objective was to tell Anurag how we have almost crossed paths. I was also at the screening of Subramaniapuram that you did at Le Riviere without subtitles. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Because that influenced him to make Gangs of Wasseypur. So let's come to Gangs of Wasseypur.
Genuine fan.
Was it always a plan to split it into two films?
No, I just kept writing. I thought it would be 3 films. But somehow Vikram Motwani came and saved it, ended up as 2 films. It could have been 3 films because my first cut was 7.5 hours long.
Oh, wow.
But that medium has freed you a lot also, you would say, no?
Yeah, I would just go on doing things. In the sense, there's no restriction. You did not know what to do. And before that, I remember there's one more. Ramoji had made Rakt Charitra,
Yes.
which was 2 parts. I was like, yeah, kya farak padta hai? Just tell the whole story. Go the whole hog, go the whole story. And also, Viacom at that time was restarting again. They were also a newer studio. So they were also very happy they were getting probably 2 films or 3 films. So it was very organic. I don't think it can happen like that now until there's a proper plan. There's no plan in Wasseypur. Wasseypur was second part was mostly improvised. A lot of it was improvised.
Wow. I think cinema a few years from now will be mostly improvised only.
No, now not anymore. People are scared of improvisation now.
You think?
The more corporatized it is getting and the more the
boring ho
streamers...
jata hai na?
But they've made it like their algorithms and things have made it very fixed.
Set piece all the time. Then you just feel it.
They want to just keep repeating the formula. What has worked for them is what they want.
Actor also, we don't exactly know what's happening, So you're reacting actually. Otherwise you sort of know. Come on, who doesn't know? It's like ridiculous. So deep down, I think it's a better format.
Let's just quickly fast forward to then you do Bombay Velvet. You do Raman Raghav.
Ugly and Bombay Velvet. First Ugly, then Bombay Velvet.
Yeah. And then just give us like a right now, and then streaming comes and you do Sacred Games. What do you think of the current landscape of, especially someone who makes offbeat experimental films? People say it's easier now because streaming websites...
No, it's not like that. Streamers also go for very safe things. Streamers also follow algorithms. So they actually go for what has previously worked for them and safe things because they think familiarity is what brings the problem. But that is what becomes exhausting over a period of time, which is what they don't understand. Because algorithms... They don't care whether people are liking the show. They're very happy with the numbers of how many people have seen it. But people see it out of curiosity. But they end up with disappointment. After a while, they give up. It's like, look at what has happened this year.
It's like marriage.
Yeah,
you try it and you say, oh fuck.
Look at all the Marvel movies and Fast and Furious and nothing has worked. Indiana Jones. And what has worked is surprisingly Barbie. And what has worked is Oppenheimer.
Do you like Barbie?
I loved Barbie.
Oh, shit. Interview's over. I have my limits here. I can't talk.
You didn't like it? It was so funny.
I couldn't watch
because he's enough.
You found Oppenheimer funnier, didn't you?
Wow. Wow. That's black comedy, yaar. That's interesting. I'll tell you one thing. If you perform in Japan after this, I'll give you a medal. So we have to go to the AMAs.
I
have one last question. I want to ask
sure.
about the acting part. So now people are going to like your acting, I'm sure. We saw the promos, everybody's there. And you've already done a bit. And what if you get a lot of offers? Are you going to become...
I get a lot of acting offers.
But then you might be forced to act, no?
On a daily basis, I get acting offers. I don't have time. I have to make a lot of films. So when I have free time, I will...
But they pay you lots of money as you get more popular.
So
this
that's
show
what it is.
Well.
What I do is I will start asking for a lot of money. Whoever pays me the highest, I'll do that job.
And then when you go to Banaras, they will touch your feet immediately. They don't have to check also ki picture ka naam kya hai. Just think of it that way.
Yeah, that's the big... You know what happens now with me, no?
What?
I go out and people walk up to you and they're always asking for your selfies. But nobody knows me as a director. They know me as from AK versus AK.
Really? After all that work?
But you've probably done the most self-referential cameos in Hindi films than anybody else. I love your
Self-trolling is the best because you don't leave anything for others to
You've already abused yourself, tu ja abhi.
In Made in Heaven season 2, he has a scene where he's walking with a stick and he says ke kaans pe red carpet pe pixel ke. I have two questions, then we'll go to the AMAs. So, where do your kind of films stand now? I mean, considering big budget action films are the ones which are getting people to theatres, or it has to be a Gadar like event.
I survive.
So
Okay.
then Wasepur is also...
But Wasepur was 2015, right?
No, but he's got a big canvas. It's not like he won't do that. He'll do anything.
No, but if I stick to a certain amount of budget...
First picture is violent. Absolutely violent.
ठीक है, but how do you get people to watch that in the cinema?
See, my thing is, if I start aspiring to be like a 100 crore club filmmaker...
400, sir, 400.
400, forget 100. I have not touched 50 also. So if I aspire to be...
On a talent management.
If I aspire to do that, then there's no point for me to make the films that I'm making.
Okay.
So I stick to a certain budget and I have all the freedom. When I cross that budget, then I lose my freedom. Then I have to start catering. So I try to stay within the limits so I don't have to cater.
Jo bhi hai, I want item numbers. I believe the item number is very important, even if you don't smoke. In the old days, I remember all my friends used to smoke. When the song starts, generally they used to go out. So Hindi pictures, that was a break for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Some people enjoyed the music. Some people, okay, 4 minutes ke liye
Okay.
Exactly. So, but I like the item numbers. I feel they should be there.
And I have item numbers in my
You
film.
do. I'm just telling.
Mostly my item numbers, they have men dancers. Nawazuddin.
Sir, what the theek hai? We are very woke here.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah. And second question, do you feel, do you still have the same zeal to go against the authority to make your films? You want to tell stories which challenge the status quo?
I do that.
Yeah.
I do that. I mean, right, in the sense, the atmosphere is not extremely supportive at the moment. But
If you get a national award...
I will never get a national award.
But supposing then, does that mean you switched and now you're pro?
Wait, why do you say
no?
why do you say you'll never get a national award?
You can never say never.
I've fought every government.
Oh, every government. So you're a secular guy that way.
Yeah, I fought every government. So.
But ऐसा तो लगता होगा ना कि यार कितना लड़ेंगे, छोड़ो, I'll make the safe films.
No, I've you learn over a period of time how to fight. Because you can actually fight.
I have one
Because
question.
censors actually cannot cut down your film.
I have
They're not allowed to.
I have to ask one last question. I know we have time.
Yeah, yeah.
Quickly want to ask this because I heard this rumor sitting right here that you and this comedian friend of ours who used to work at MTV also, Kunal Kamra, went to meet India's most celebrated journalist, whose name I don't take Arnab's name, so I'm not going to say.
That was on my birthday.
On your birthday, September 10th last year.
No, 2 years back, yeah.
2 years back. You took chappals and you all went to the Times Now, Republic office and...
We were made to stand out.
Okay, but you actually went and did this? So
Yes.
Unbelievable. And they didn't obviously let you in.
No.
They should let you in. It's like a joke. What's the big deal?
But everybody can't take a joke.
Have you seen the
I want to ask one
the
question.
old Arnab
In
clip
Parel-
where he's
No, how did they get...
complimenting Arnab?
Arnab and me, we were like same time in the university.
Oh, really?
So we go way
Which
back.
university?
Delhi University.
What are you saying? Your batchmates?
Yeah, kind of.
This is like a bloody... This is exactly 80s Manmohan Desai kind of formula. You know, two brothers, one goes this way, one goes that way. Wow, what a story. You make this film. Abbas ko cameo.
There's a clip where we're talking about university days.
Oh, okay.
And he's blushing.
He's blushing. So, pehchan tha. Proper.
Yeah.
What are you saying? This is damn interesting, yaar. And all friends and all good in those days.
Yeah. Very good.
Was his philosophies as, let's say...
No, this and that, they're two different people.
Wow.
I think we should go to the AMAs. So some listeners have sent in questions, Anurag. The first one comes from Shreyas. Shreyas asks, rank the three. Director Anurag, actor Anurag, producer Anurag.
He's ranked it basically, but already.
Well, in the sense, what I prefer to do, director Anurag first.
Okay.
And what people prefer me to do is producer Anurag first.
Okay.
And what some others is the actor Anurag first. Producer Anurag, for filmmakers, they think the films that I've produced are much more successful than films I've directed.
Why would that be, you think? Just
Because
the way it
I
is.
think the directors of those films had more commerce in them.
Or maybe when you're a director, you don't care about anybody else. You want to make your thing. When you're a producer, you're actually a little bit more careful.
As a producer, I don't tell. I don't tell the director what to do. I like the directors. They make the film. They are more conscious. Box office.
You don't interfere?
They play safe. No. I'm saying that because the films I've produced have had stars in it.
I mean, you might go the other way. You must say, और गाली दे.
उड़ान में इतनी गालियाँ नहीं थी.
नहीं.
Queen, yeah.
Oh, you're the producer of Queen?
Queen, Lunchbox.
For Parsis, we see Queen.
Okay, this one comes from Anindya. They ask, both you and Imtiaz Ali have mentioned the relatively unknown indie film called Om Darbadar as a major influence. What's the story behind that?
Kamal Swarup, during the MTV channel days, Kamal Swarup used to do a lot of these promos. I used to hang out with him. Yeah. And one of the first independent scripts I wrote was for him.
Okay.
And I saw Om Darbadar. And there's a song in Om Darbadar, Meri Jan A, Meri Jan B, Meri Jan C. Was a major influence on emotional attachment.
What letter does it stop at?
I don't know. C.
But Om Darbadar is the experimental. It's called a stoner film. It does not have a...
What do you mean by stoner?
You can watch it under the influence of certain substances.
What
and
substance?
Enjoyed it. I don't know, whatever substances you
like.
Ruh Afza.
शरीफ लोग हैं हम दोनों यार.
Ruh Afza, Tang, whatever.
Ruh Afza.
Floats your boat.
Yeah.
But you and Imtiaz, have you guys seen this film together? Om Darbadar?
I don't know. I don't think we saw it together. Okay. We've seen separately.
Okay.
Also DU, is it? He's also DU?
No. He's DU. He also DU.
So all you guys were together, is it?
Yeah, almost same time. Him and Arnav were very close friends.
What? You're being funny now, right?
No.
Yeah, but this has to be a joke, yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Baba, he used to be a very mild-mannered newscaster.
He's a very mild-mannered guy when you meet him. He's sweet.
He's actually very...
He does nothing like that.
But Imtiaz, Arjun Rampal and Arnav. Same
Oh my God. Jeez. Guys, you're making the wrong film. I've got a blockbuster here. It's like Amar Akbar Anthony is another version completely. Yaar. We've got it. Come on.
Okay, the next one comes from Sunny. Bandit Queen, Satya, Gangs of Wasseypur are movies which had the most number of newcomers during their respective time period. Please tell us your favorite actor or actress from these movies respectively, about whom you had a feeling that they would go on to become successful.
Aditya Srivastava, Manoj Bajpayee, definitely. Bandit Queen. Satya also, same thing. Gangs of Wasseypur was like after I had the feeling that Nawazuddin Siddiqui will really go far. And then it went from there.
Okay.
And Richa Chadda.
Right. What is it about them that you see and you're like, okay?
No, they're terrific actors.
No, but
actors have a lot of screen presence.
But can you tell like intangible qualities that are there in some people?
There's a certain kind of a gravity and screen presence that an actor has. But generally the industry is so busy typecasting, they sometimes... Their idea of good looking is very limited to how they see somebody in person. But the camera sees people differently. So screen presence. They have terrific screen presence. Like Huma Qureshi has terrific screen presence. But off-screen people might not see them like that sometimes. Right. Nawazuddin looks very diminutive in the sense, very small. But when you look at him closely, you know his eyes are so strong, make him look larger than life on screen. So those things that you see in people.
Can I just say, I was taking a film appreciation class and the professor was, I think, teaching us something about black and white photography. And he was saying, किसी यहाँ पे कितने अच्छी खूबसूरती से उनको write किया गया है. Gangs of Wasseypur की तरह नहीं जहाँ लोग मैले कुचैल हैं.
Who? But there's more conservatively brought up people who just decide that label one guy. I'm sure he's had to put up with that. His own family told him, take a picture banao and all that. But I can understand that. It's okay. That's actually like a compliment. You understand, right?
Yeah, I mean, the film was hit in the...
He's the rebel. He's the guy who set the standards for going the other way.
Yeah. Okay, this one comes from Sai Shinoy. Given that there are so many reboots and remakes, which old Hindi film would you like to remake? That's the first question.
There's a film called Majboor.
Okay.
Don't tell us about it, yaar.
Majboor.
That's our story.
Ravina Tandon's dad made it.
Okay.
From which I actually stole a shot. The Pran, when he uses his hands to make the binoculars from his eyes, which is in Raman Raghav. It's actually from Majboor. The Pran plays a character called Michael. इसमें गाना है बहुत famous. Michael दारू पीता है, पी के हल्ला करता है. पी के दंगा करता है.
I can tell you.
So Majboor is a great film. I think Salim Javed's one of the best screenplays. And the film did not work very well. That's why I think that, it's like if one has to remake a film, one should remake a film that was incredible, had a lot of potential, but didn't
do so well.
Yeah, correct.
Didn't do so well at the box office.
Okay. Do you like anthology movies? Is the next part of the question. I'm sure yes.
Some of
because
them,
you
some
made-
of them, yeah.
Okay. You started with Star Bestsellers also, which was an anthology show. Yeah.
Yeah, I did one episode.
Yeah.
One story.
Last Train to Mahakal.
Last Train to Mahakali.
Mahakali, sorry. Let me show
Wow,
you.
very
But
good.
we
Very
enjoyed
good.
working on Bombay Talkies, love stories and ghost stories. That was a lot of fun.
And the third part of their question is a smaller time canvas better or worse? And how do you approach a challenge like this?
Smaller?
Canvas, like
Achha.
smaller budget.
Less money.
Lesser
No,
resources.
I like to approach films. I like to keep the budgets tight because I get more freedom. I can do whatever I want. Nobody interferes.
Because they're feeling bad they didn't pay you enough. I-
They don't pay you enough, but the thing is like the joy of making the film is so much more, 10 times more. I've also done a film where I got paid very well and it cost so much.
Which
and that became the bane of my
Bombay
life.
Velvet?
Velvet.
Okay.
So no, if one has to choose
But were you
between...
disappointed with Bombay Velvet? Because sometimes
I was not disappointed with the film.
Yeah, it's just
but
that it
the film became such a... It kind of...
yeah,
It made life
thought it
very
would be a
difficult
big-
for me.
Yeah.
After that, like, after that-
Mainstream, big name.
yeah,
all
it
that.
became very difficult for me. It became very difficult for me to like go and convince people because I said that's why I started again. I went straight from that big budget to Raman Raghav because I had to go that way.
Go back
Otherwise, I
to
won't have
school again
survived.
and
Yeah.
start with your style.
Because if I still have to choose between big budget, big stars, and everything, as
But-
compared to
But like you said, a
total
lot of
freedom, I
Anurag-
would choose total freedom.
a lot of Anurag Kashyap works seem to also grow with time.
Yeah.
So it's
Exactly,
very possible
yeah.
that Bombay Velvet one day
Bombay
will be a
Velvet is
cult
also
film.
is also getting that recognition now on my podcast. We did an episode.
Ask him to come on the podcast.
Yeah, I do a
It's a good
podcast called
chance.
Has It Aged Well, where we take films which were big when we were growing up and assess how well.
It's
they
a
have
better
aged
version
well.
of this podcast.
The most recent film we did on that was Bombay Velvet with Sucharita Tyagi, and she loved the film. So yeah. I was going to ask something. Raman Raghav is also a remake, sort of, right? Sri Ram Raghavan made.
No, it's not Raman Raghav. No, I wanted to do Raman Raghav.
Okay.
Like what Shriram had done, I kind of was on the sidelines working on the same office. So I'd seen that. So the idea was Bombay Velvet was actually supposed to be 4 films.
Okay.
First was Bombay Velvet, second was Raman Raghav, third was supposed to be the 4 different stories covering the story of Mumbai from the 40s to the 70s.
Okay.
Through the newspapers of Karanji and Karaka being the 2 characters who were the storytellers. So the first one bombed, the other 3 didn't get made. So the second one in the series was Raman Raghav, which was written. And when it did not get made, because the first one bombed, so I just rewrote it as Raman Raghav 2.0 and made a modern version and made the 2 characters separate.
Okay.
So what I did was, if you look at the sequence of the family scene was borrowed from the kind of a reworked version from the original story of Raman Raghav.
Okay.
Everything else was how I was looking at the world, changing world then.
Okay. The last one comes from Hari Pateri. They've asked, what did you think or what do you think about the hype and build up to movies like Brahmastra and them falling flat essentially? I don't think Brahmastra fell flat, but you can give your opinion.
Brahmas still made a lot of money.
Yeah.
But now we don't
But
even know who
I'm
makes
very
money.
scared of hype and
No,
build-up.
we don't know who makes money. They just tell us all kinds of figures and some
Yeah,
say
but
they're inflated.
but I think it's not always very false. But you know, obviously, Gadar made money, and you obviously know that
Yeah.
Pathan made money.
Yeah,
and
those
oh
two.
my God, made money. Even Dream Girl is making money. The thing is not like that. I'm scared of hype and things. I don't talk about my films till I made them. Like nobody knew about Kennedy till it was announced to be at the festival, or nobody knew about any of my films, last 2-3 films, till the actual trailer came out. So because Bombay Velvet, there was so much hype, and there's so much attention, and there's too much attention, and that literally destroyed the objectivity, and that made everybody go on their back foot because suddenly you had to cater to the expectations, and so you never know. See, I would rather that the film is, if a film bombs, it's my own flop, it's my own bomb, it's my own mistake. With Bombay Velvet, you can't say whose it was. Like, of course, it was mine.
Could you blame
Was it all mine?
Could you blame Maharashtra tourism?
No.
Because Bombay was called Mumbai by then, so they were a little not supportive. So, just putting it out.
Do you think that happening? I mean, do you have a fear of that happening with Kennedy again? Because it's got selected at Cannes, and now
Yeah, but
there's-
Kennedy is
He's
not.
saying that, but he's
They're not
kept it
very
low key.
expensive movie, no? I don't.
Very low key.
See, now my films' budgets are controlled. Since then, my life is very easy.
okay.
See, for Indians, Kennedy is for upmarket guys is that famous president who got killed in America, and for downmarket guys is a bridge in Mumbai.
Right.
So it's not an issue here. He's very
Correct.
smart that way. He's kept it under the radar. Oh, we have to stop apparently.
Yes.
Anurag has to go to the next.
When can we
appointment.
see Kennedy?
I think hopefully before the year is
Okay.
out.
Okay. Do you have any closing questions?
My close question is we're here to promote a show,
Haddi.
a film called
Yeah.
Haddi, which is more important.
Yes.
And it's releasing on September 7th.
Yes.
Which is the day my son sadly goes back to Canada. So I'll watch the film because I love revenge dramas. And it's Anurag as an actor enjoying himself, playing a villain and beating and killing
Yeah.
and lots of galis also. I love galis.
Haddi, no, I don't think Haddi
Ek
has
do to
galis.
hoga na.
Haddi doesn't have. Akshat Sharma is a vegetarian.
Damn him, yeah. What's wrong with these today's
Yet
kids?
his film is called Haddi.
Yeah. Are you? What an irony is that, yeah? What does he know about it? All right. Anyway, I hope it was okay for you, sir. So I know you're not feeling well, asthma and all that, but thank you so much for coming up. We're both big fans. That
Yep.
we are. Yeah.
You know, I've been to your house. Some celebration with you and Aisha.
Huh? With me and?
Aisha?
Oh shit, he knows my.